Podcast like a motherfucker.
Welcome back to Time Podcast, episode number
9.
We're back online. This has only been a couple of weeks since the last recording, which is it's like a nice feeling, but it's also unusual for us to do so many recordings in such a short space of time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, usually we're like 4 or 5 times a year or something, because I guess that's the cadence that we see each other.
Yeah, living in different countries. But I think the plan is now to have a bit more regular content. At least once a month is kind of the goal that we've set ourselves. So hopefully this is going to happen now, and we can just do more regular shows so we can get a bit more like consistent content coming out there. But I also think it's because we have a lot to talk about because there's so much stuff has happened.
Yeah, I feel like right around the time we recorded the last podcast, then you were like just about to go to a tournament, and we had also played a bunch of games and whatever, and we're doing a lot of hobby, so there's definitely a lot of things happening.
Yeah, exactly. I think last episode we did like a very big hobby section, so this time it's not going to be quite as lengthy.
Yeah, sure.
I think the podcast is going to be like the usual segments, like what's new, like new releases, rumors, and stuff like that. We haven't got like a big fluff background section today. It's going to be, I think this podcast today is going to be a bit more like gaming, power gaming focus, like hardcore 40k focused, which is maybe showing the other side of our, I don't know, the other edge of our double-edged sword, where we are
sure.
Obviously like more hobby focused podcast, but we also try and play the game a bit as well.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely come. I mean, we come from a background, right? Of in the previous games we played, we've like tried quite hard, and it's interesting. It's kind of nice, I find, to not actually be that competitive when playing 40k. But of course, it's like it's unavoidable that you end up like going into similar modes of thinking and list building and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think to an extent, it's also like you get to a certain point in the game where you're like, I want to optimize a little bit more. And also when you're playing certain people in the, let's say like the group, it's like, okay, if I don't optimize, I'm just going to get fucked. So I need to get either both a little bit better at playing and also write a bit better lists.
Yeah, I think this is something we learned last, like when I was visiting you in Copenhagen. And also before, of course, is that 40k is the kind of game where if one person optimizes their list and the other person doesn't, it's not actually that interesting for either player, because it's just becomes really clear very fast what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still at the point where I'm not playing, let's say, like the most optimized list. I'm just playing what I have painted, which is basically built around the combat patrol boxes that I started with, because it was, let's say, like the most price efficient method of collecting an army. But now I'm getting to a point now where I have a few more options and I can start like tailoring my list a little bit more to what I think is in the meta or like the way that I want to play. And this is actually what we're going to talk about today. The main topic of the show is going to be sort of my journey with the Eldar, from going from like the things that I was thinking about playing to actually playing a tournament, and let's say a little bit of a tournament report, not battle reports, but sort of game by game, like sort of what happened, my experiences in my first proper tournament. So that's going to be the main topic of the show, and then we have, say, all the usual segments like running up to that. So shall we jump in and talk about the new releases and stuff that's happened in the last couple of weeks?
Yes, let's go for it. So, I mean, they're not released yet, right? But do you want to start with the Mutilators, or
go for it? I mean, you're the Warriors of Chaos guys, so like start with them.
Yeah, I don't know if they're called Warriors of Chaos though, Henry. I think maybe that's like drink worthy. To be honest.
I'll drink.
Yeah.
What is it like? Chaos
Space Marines.
Space Marines, yeah.
Yeah, it's like everything's a Space Marine. You just add like a thing before, Okay.
The Chaos Space Marines, the Mutilators.
Yeah.
So tell us about these guys. What's up? What's happened?
Yeah, so I think to prime this, I'm gonna send you. I don't think you've seen this, so I'll put this here in the chat. This is like a picture of the old Mutilators and what they used to look like.
In the Zencaster or in?
Yeah, in the Zencaster, exactly. So they used to be fucking terrible when they
Oh
were
my
in the game
god!
before. So
This
bad.
looks like something that someone like sculpted or like molded or something.
Yeah, it looks like me when I was 15. If I were just
Yeah,
like, oh, let
using
me
green
convert
stuff.
this with green
Yeah,
stuff very poorly, and those cost like an arm and a leg because they used to be in metal and fine cast or whatever.
yeah. It's like
So
the
I
kind of things that
never.
you could throw at someone and knock them out.
Yeah, exactly. And I never really liked them as a kid because I was like, these just look stupid. Like, why would I get these?
Yeah,
So when I saw the announcement, they're like, oh, new mutilators. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. That's probably not that cool.
but
But
they
then
look really
they
good.
look fucking amazing. Like, I feel like as I said to the boys, right? Like they've taken the good parts of what they did with the previous obliterators, and they kind of removed all the like janky shit. So like the obliterators that are kind of the shooting variety of something
Casimir.
very similar, they are a lot of like fleshy bits that don't make sense. Like they have weird like elephantitis feet and stuff that just kind of they don't look very good. So now they've kind of moved back to an aesthetic of it's like more like a Terminator that's been like roided out almost. I would say in the design.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But like it, these actually make me want to play Chaos Space Marines because they're
Yeah.
really cool models. They're really really cool.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're really interesting, but they're not also like too crazy. Like they look really like heavy. Like they're not like jumping on one leg or whatever. But they still have like
They
a
don't
fair
look
bit of
like
movement.
massive retards
Yeah,
either.
exactly.
They look like they're gonna fuck you up
Yeah.
rather than just looking like something that's so mutated it's just gonna fall apart.
Yeah, exactly. No, so it's yeah, and the kind of like, but to some extent, kind of believable in the universe. I feel like that's
Yeah,
also
yeah,
a big
exactly,
thing.
exactly. Like the previous ones didn't really look like
No.
anything, but yeah, they look more like a chaos spawn than anything.
Yeah, exactly. And then I don't really like the obliterators, like the shooting variety guys, and the here with this kit is also looks like you could probably buy this and then just use your extra heavy weapons you have from whatever kits and put those on instead, and then you have like the shooting guys as well.
So it's the same
Yeah, so like
unit, or
to give you some like a fluff background, basically these are like either like space marines or that have been infected by something that's called like the techno virus or whatever, which is like
okay.
imagine it's a computer virus, but it comes from chaos essentially. So it's like let's say the dark mechanicum and the chaos guys that are like into let's say vehicles and technology, they use this virus to like infect stuff and make it into like chaos vehicles that kind of become sentient and whatever. And these are like people who are or space marines who are like infected by the virus to like as a humanoid, so to say, which makes
Yeah.
them like meld together with the machine parts of their armor. So
Okay.
so they kind of
Cool.
like they become one with their armor, and that lets them like kind of mutate out different type of weapons. So the unit has always been like, okay, so a mutilator in the past it had like different profiles for its attacks, and then like depending on what they were fighting, they would like mutate out like different types of weapons, like a power weapon or like a big claw or a chainsword or whatever, and there'll be more attacks, less AP or something like this.
Yeah. Okay. And do they have something like that in the rules?
So that I'm not sure of because mutilators don't exist in the book right now because
Okay.
of the old models, right? But
Yeah.
the obliterators, which is essentially the same thing but shooting,
The shooting
they're
variety. Yeah.
yeah they're like that where you choose like a profile that you're gonna shoot with them, I think, or at least
Okay.
it used to be like this. Maybe I'm wrong, but I always thought that was cool. Like because in the old game it was really like it wasn't like a generic, oh, this is the high AP one. It's like, oh, you want to shoot the last cannon, a plasma cannon, a heavy bolter, and you just pick the heavy weapon.
Yeah. I mean, you 9 times out of 10 you're choosing the best thing at the time, or
Yeah,
it's using
exactly.
the same weapon.
When you're a kid, it's much more fun because you don't realize which one is the best weapon. But then when you're an adult, you're like, okay, I'm always
Okay.
going to shoot the last
The
cannon.
clear, obvious choice. Yeah. So this what's your overall thoughts on the, let's say, like the preview? Like do you I mean, I assume you're going to probably get these models when they hit the shops.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think it's really good. Like also the pictures are good as well. Like I think they actually look almost better in the smaller pictures. Like I'm looking at the article now, where like from the side and stuff, where you see like all the weapons and like all the different weird claws they have and stuff like that.
Yeah, I actually really like the Iron Warriors. Is it Iron Warriors paint job as well with the
Yes,
hazard
the
stripes?
stripes.
It looks really nice. Like I think they
Yeah,
look pretty
yeah.
cool.
It seems like it's going to be like that's going to be the focus of the coming releases, and you almost get the feeling that these were kind of supposed to come last year, because last year was supposed to be like the year of chaos or whatever, and there wasn't that many chaos releases. So maybe for whatever scheduling reasons, this stuff just got kind of pushed to this year.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So I think it's just cool to have more models out there, and
Yeah,
I
for sure.
guess with like the Maelstrom thing, it's going to kind of tie in a bit like more chaos stuff. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, and then that sort of ties into quite nicely into the next thing that they've released recently, which is the rules for Huron Blackheart and his command squad.
Yeah, exactly. Because we talked about the moles, I think, previously, and now we
Yes,
got like
yes,
essentially the data cards.
yes,
So
exactly.
So Huron he was always like his like gimmick was always that he had like a flame like a special power fist or power claw or whatever that had like an integrated like warp flamer or something,
Yeah,
which he
and
still
that's
has.
exactly what he has. My
Yeah,
my basic understanding of the rules is that he has the same profile as a Chaos Lord
yeah,
with exactly the same stat fly, but then has these special weapons. I think even his like Tyrant's Claw and Power Weapon or whatever, like that's what it's written in the data card.
yeah.
I think that's exactly the same as a Chaos Lord profile as
It's like
well.
a bit better. So with a Chaos Lord, I think you have Strength 8 as well, but instead of having like 6 attacks, I think you only have 5 base, and
Okay,
you have
so he
like
has an
AP2 damage 2 or something. So it's like
okay,
a bit
so he's
more.
a little bit better, and then he has this Flamer, which is 12-inch range, D6 plus 2 shots, well, D6 plus 2 hits rather,
Yeah.
Trim 6, AP1, damage 1, which is pretty
And I
decent.
think what's really good about it
It's
is
also
that it's
pistol.
a pistol, yeah. So you can like shoot
Woo!
that in combat, and I think that
That's
makes it like
nice.
really like a lot better output. He also
Yeah,
has feel
that's
no
nice.
pain 5+ because I guess once you've shot half your body off, then then you're
Yeah,
ignoring
he can
pain.
take it. He can take it. It's like,
Yeah,
half my body's like a machine anyway. It's like been rebuilt, so no stress.
yeah, exactly. Which is really good, and he also has like one of those what's it called? Not surge move, but reactive move things when somebody comes close to him.
Yeah,
So
and also adds 1 to the objective control of models in the unit as well. Anyway, so we also have the Masters of the Maelstrom, which is like his command squad.
yeah,
There's 2 profiles for this. One has toughness 4 and 4 wounds, and one has toughness 3 and 3 wounds. And the first one has a 3+ save, and the second one has a 4+ save.
yeah. And I
So
think this is because there's one human. Like it's four like I don't know, is it 3 or 4? Well, a number of Space Marine like
there's
sized characters.
five models. 2 of
Yeah.
them have the lesser profile, and 3 of them have the
Okay,
greater
okay.
profile.
So it's basically there's 3 Space Marines and 2 let's say
Humans.
humanoids. I think one of the lesser profiles is the lizard guy. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So I think to pick out some interesting stuff here, like one of them is a sorcerer, and that sorcerer has like a ranged weapon which has 2+ to hit with precision, and it does D6 +1 damage, which is pretty crazy to be honest. Like
That's
it's only
really good.
12-inch range, but you can like if you deep strike this unit, which I think you can, or maybe not actually. You can, let's see. I know you can
No,
deep strike
can't.
Huron. Huron can deep strike, but maybe not this unit then. But anyway, like if you bring them in close to something, you just snipe out that buff character before because you just need to hit right, and then you can
2
basically
plus
kill. Yeah,
Trim 6, AP -2, D6 +1 damage. Pretty good.
that's not too bad. And then one of them is like kind of a apothecary kind of type of character, which doesn't exist for chaos normally. So he can either heal back a model into this unit, which seems really good. But the one thing I don't get is that it says excluding character models. So I don't know. Maybe these guys don't count as characters, but you couldn't heal Huron, for example. But maybe you can like if you lose one of the other guys, you could just put him back. And if you don't do that, you can also like go close to one of your other Astartes units and gain a command point if they've lost models. So I think that's for him like kind of harvesting their gonads, and just I guess it's the gene seed, right, that he's sucking out, because that's what the apothecaries usually do, is they go collect the gene seed from like the fallen space marines.
Yeah, I mean, these guys can join Chosen, Legionaries, and Red Corsair Raiders. So I guess you're healing like the unit that you're in.
Oh, okay.
So
But
it's going to
wait,
be a
so
pretty big Death Star.
yeah, and wait, can you join Huron to this unit and then this unit to another unit as well?
Yeah, so you can join. It says that you can join this unit to Chosen, Legionaries, Red Corsair Raiders. It cannot join an attached unit. So I assume that means that like if you have another character in one of these units that
Yeah,
you
true.
can't join it, and only Huron Blackheart can join a unit this unit has joined. So you can also add Huron to this unit, which is join one of the three options.
Yeah,
as well.
exactly. So that's a pretty crazy Death Star, especially
So
if you for
six
some reason
models.
like max them out. You have 10 guys and then these 5 guys and then Huron as well.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, okay, maybe I don't know how expensive these guys are. Probably pretty cheap, since it's just come out. But yeah,
Yeah. And then I think the other really good thing is like the like humanoid, like the woman. She's supposed to be like a fleet commander, and her special ability is that you can like redeploy 3 units, or essentially you can put them into reserves, even if you maxed out your reserves, which seems pretty good as well.
that seems quite fun, and it also seems sort of relevant for like Corsairs, sort of ambushing from the table edges or whatever.
Yeah. And I think this is actually like really good, because you can like that's what I found when I play, at least, is that the setup like can matter quite a lot, like especially if you deploy stuff like on the line to go for something, and then your opponent counters that somehow, that you could just go like, okay, these units just go behind cover, like that would be the simplest, or back into reserves or whatever.
Yeah, and then the last one is called Plunder. This is an insane ability. So once a battle, after unit has ended a normal move, you can select one visible enemy unit within 12 inches. On a D6 on a 2+, that enemy suffers D3+1 mortal wounds. So this is good, but it's really good because you can also grenade them as well. So you do grenades and you do this. So it's
Yeah,
basically
that's pretty.
D3+1 mortal wounds. So on average, let's say that's D3+4. So on
Yeah.
average, you're just doing like 6 wounds, slap. 6
Yeah,
wounds,
exactly.
boom.
Yeah,
Which
and then
is
all the like random
really good.
shooting and stuff that you
Yeah,
also can
yeah, yeah.
bring out as well.
So I feel like this is pretty strong unit. Like I haven't really looked into the weapons and stuff. It doesn't seem that they have something super crazy. It's like strength 5, strength 4, mostly just damage 2 and damage 1, apart from the psychic attack. Like the melee weapons seem pretty good. It's all
Yeah.
like strong melee profile.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of like 2+ to
Yeah,
hit with strength 6 and damage 2. So like Space Marine
yeah,
killers.
yeah. So I think
Which
this is pretty
I mean,
strong.
this is what we've learned about this game, is that's what you need. You need stuff to kill Space Marines, basically.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think it could be quite a strong unit.
Yeah, I think
Depending on the
if I was
points,
playing
but
Red
it'll be decent.
Corsairs, I'd be very happy. Like this, it looks really fun as well, and the unit's very characterful. Like everybody is quite unique and interesting models as well.
Yeah, I think I'd be a bit like hesitant to. I find it a bit weird unit, like from my mind canon.
Yeah.
Like having like a unit of sort of misfits with, say, like my legionaries or whatever. I feel it's a bit weird, but it seems good.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is like the Red Corsairs are definitely one of these things which are all built around Huron, like
Yeah,
currently. So I think if you're playing them, you're probably into Huron as a character. So in that sense, probably it's people looked forward to this as something in the game.
yeah. So sounds good. Okay, so the next section is hobby. So what have you been doing since the last time
Oh,
we talked, Casimir?
I've been building a bunch of stuff
You've been
because
busy. You've been actually quite busy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was. I had a few or not weekends, but a few evenings where I just like really hunker down because after Denmark, I had this feeling that okay, like maybe it's time to like get up to 2,000 points so I could actually play like a proper size game. Before I've been focusing on just like let me try to get the 1,000 points painted, but I feel like I played enough 1,000 points now to realize like let's say the weaknesses of the format, right? Like the biggest
Yeah.
thing I think we talked about it last time as well is just like the demons just work in such a different way, and they can be a bit oppressive. I think at 1,000 points because there's so much space to deep strike all over the board and whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
So
when we played 1,000 points, it was quite like, okay, you can just go anywhere on the board you want.
yeah, exactly. Whereas on 2,000 points, I'm like I can't put my shit anywhere. What the hell? So yeah, so then I didn't really like. I think like on the way back, I had this idea that I'm like, oh well, maybe I should just like build my greater demons, and I've been focusing on the great unclean one, but that's like a horrible build because I got this like secondhand Glotkin that was glued together by an idiot, and yeah, just having to take it apart to put it back together was really annoying. But then I realized that like from a previous project way back in time, I have like a kind of keeper of secrets model, or I actually intended to use it as a keeper of secrets in fantasy, and it's the model is called Avatar of Body from Creature Caster, and it's essentially this like massive Xerxes looking guy that's is like a full 8 inches tall resin model, and he just looks like a like a sculpted Greek god, basically. And my idea was always that I'm like, yeah, but this guy is like like he's so homoerotic that he could be like a keeper of secrets.
And I'm just looking at the picture of it online now, and the head that you've chosen is like the non-helmeted head, which is even more gay. So
Yeah,
definitely,
exactly. And that's why I chose it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so
and it used to have a
I've always
sword,
liked
but
this model.
does it come with different weapons? Because you've
Yeah.
added
So
some
basically, you
sort
can
of
give him like a trident or a sword, but I feel like there was first of all, the
the
problem is
weapon that
this.
you've given looks really good. It looks way better.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, so I feel like the sculptor who did this, he was trying to make it. It feels weird to say about like an 8 inch tall model, but like the weapons are more like true scale, so to say. So it's not like this like chunky Games Workshop scale.
Yeah,
And the problem with that is that because it's resin, and it's thin, then obviously it's like warps a lot. So like all those weapons were like quite warped in the box,
yeah.
and that was one part where I'm like, oh, then I have to like heat them up and fix them, and hopefully they don't break or whatever. And also they're really thin, and I felt like the sword didn't really fit with how he's standing, like because based on how the
Yeah,
model is like kind of stepping down the
it looks
stairs
a
and
bit weird to
holding.
be honest.
Yeah, it's like holding the weapon like kind of behind one of his legs. So if you have a
Yeah.
sword, it's mostly kind of hidden, and then the trident is instead like really really tall. And I looked at it and I'm like, if I put this trident on, I'm never gonna be able to transport him because then with the trident he'll be like 11 inches or whatever. So
Yeah.
so in the end, I actually took a weapon you gave me from the Magnus box, which is like
Yes.
a kopish or a scimitar or something like this, right? And I just kind of cut it up and glued it on top of the like the trident. What's it called? I was about to say stick. What do you
The
call
staff
the
or the
staff?
shaft.
Yeah, shaft. Yeah, that's the word. Uh, and also in the end, actually, I pinned it and added a magnet so I could remove this like a blade itself, because then he's actually just 8 inches instead of like I don't know 10 or whatever he is with the sword.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, but I think the weapon that you've done looks really good. Are you gonna sort of say like green stuff it and smooth it down, or is it just gonna be say stuck?
So I've added a bit of green stuff or milliput to try to make the transition between the weapon, like the blade and
Yeah.
the staff, a bit better. But
Exactly.
the problem is that because it's like pinned and I want to be able to remove it, it's really hard to green stuff it like so it looks really integrated, right? Because you still need it to be like a sharp edge where you can take it off. So I haven't really decided if I'm gonna
Whereabouts?
try.
Because I'm looking at the picture now. Like, where have you magnetized it?
So it's really just where the plastic meets the resin, essentially. So
Okay.
it's so there's a pin in the top, and then it
Yeah.
like the blade goes down on the side, and I put a magnet
Yeah.
on like the side which then connects to a
Okay.
magnet in the
Yeah,
staff.
yeah. Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know. I haven't really decided if I'm going to try to add more green stuff there to make it more natural because I'm not
I
sure
think
how.
I think you could build up the staff to kind of
Make it a bit wider.
make like a socket,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's difficult to say on the podcast, but maybe we can talk about it off air. But yeah, I'd make like a socket. But we can talk about
Okay.
it. We can
Yeah.
talk
Sure.
about it.
Yeah, it's like that, but that sounds actually like a good idea because I need it to be still somewhat separate rather than like completely
Yeah, yeah.
integrated, so it can naturally come off. But
Yeah, but
the other thing
it
that
looks really good, and
yeah, thanks.
I think as like a keeper of secrets, I really don't know how like how 40k is with say like proxies,
Yeah, I
but
mean, either.
like this makes sense as keeper of secrets. Like if you had a keeper of secrets head, it would look perfect.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
obviously, it's also like a say like a bit of like a gay head, like
Yeah,
bald guy. Yeah, I mean Xerxes is sort of like Xerxes from the 300 movie is kind of like the say like the most like easy reference that you can make. So
yeah, for sure.
it does make sense from like a background perspective as well.
Yeah, I think you could. It would probably look really cool with a keeper head, but it's like one of those things where like I don't have a head, and then I'm like, oh, do I?
China.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But like, it was one of those things where I was like, I kind of rather just because I really like this head as well,
Yeah,
and I felt like I'd
it looks
rather
good.
just
Yeah.
want to like make it done rather than like buying another thing and waiting for it to arrive.
I think what I would do is I would put like a Slanesh rune on the forehead,
Yeah,
like a symbol.
yeah, that's a good idea. I
And
wonder.
when you paint it, I would do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like add tattoos and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
because
a Slanish, like just
yeah.
a symbol on the forehead, just so people are 100% clear.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because I feel like the detailing, like it's a really nice sculpt as well. So I don't know if I'd trust myself to like sculpt that kind of stuff like on the forehead, but
I
painting
could do it for you
should be
if you
fine.
want.
Yeah, I'm sending you on WhatsApp also like some of the things I've been doing now recently is like trying to sculpt all this like he has like all these swirly armor that all over his legs and
Yeah,
arms, and there was like these joints where the resin didn't quite fit together, and I had to like try to resculpt all this like filigree and stuff. So that's been like an interesting experience
Oh
as well.
god. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it looks a little bit messy, but I think once there's paint on it, it probably won't be as
I
noticeable.
think as well that when I don't know if it's dry yet, but once it's dry, you can sort of neaten it up a little bit.
Yeah,
But I
exactly.
think it looks okay. Like as you say, like once the paint's over, you're not going to notice it. You'll be able to paint over it, and kind of with the highlights, it won't be noticeable.
Yeah, exactly. So that's one of the greater demons I've been building, and then you were building a thing from which you could talk about soon, I guess, one of the minus kits.
Yes.
So the demon Primarch, and you didn't need like all the cool bits like the wings and his sword with like like glowing orbs and stuff. So I was like, oh, can I have those, please? And then I got back, and I was thinking like, oh, what should I use these for? Maybe I can make like a demon prince or something. And then I realized like I had like a giantess type of model from like I have all these D&D miniatures lying around. So the model that I'm using as a base is like yeah, it's supposed to be like it's called like a storm giant or something from Dungeons and Lasers, I think is the brand. And then I thought like, well, what if I just gave her wings and like a bird head and a demon sword, and that's basically a lot of change. Then I just got really enthusiastic. So I just started, and I think it's coming out quite well so far.
Yeah, like I think it looks really fitting. I think once you've got the head
Yeah,
sort of like figured out, it's gonna look like really, so yeah, like Zinchi.
yeah, exactly. Like, and that's mostly because the head I'm using is the head from the old Highborn Elf High Elf Phoenix.
Ooh, excuse me.
So it's like I only have like really the head part. So then I had to like kind of sculpt
Where did you
a neck.
get that from?
Well, I bought that kit, the Phoenix kit, way back in time because I wanted the Phoenix wings for one of my Necrosphinxes,
Yeah,
if you
that's right.
remember.
That's right. Yeah. Okay.
And so I just literally bought that kit, took the wings, and just put the rest in a box.
Okay. Yeah. So you've got like a flame phoenix head or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's the flame head. So I kind of pinned that on and started sculpting a neck. And otherwise, I've just given her the like Magnus's sword and wings in the back. And now I've also like I've gotten the structure of the. I realized like I started sculpting all the little feathers and stuff. Then I realized I need to probably make like the rough structure of where the wings attach and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's like now all the
Are
pins and
you?
stuff meet
Yeah.
each
Are
other
you going to
well.
magnetize or pin the wings, or what's the
So
plan?
so the wings are pinned now, and
Like
they
in
work pretty
place,
well.
or that you can pull off?
I can pull off.
Okay.
So I
Perfect.
so I told you at first I just glued them on because I was like, yeah, whatever. And then I had second thoughts, so I was like, okay, well, maybe I need to transport this. So then I just I just ripped them off essentially, and that worked pretty fine. So now
Fair
there's
enough.
like one pin. There's one pin like in the body and one in the wing, and when
Yeah.
they like slot into each other, there's enough
Yeah.
friction for them to
They're
stay on.
solid. Yeah. Are you going to sort of add some feathers to the say like the rest of the model, like in the elbows or the knees or like the
Yeah, I think so. I think so. That's like the next step. So now, like I'm gonna basically I send you a picture. Like she's wearing like a bit of a shirt. So I actually decided I would like sculpt like a collar and so on, and then have like so that I don't have to sculpt feathers everywhere, and I don't have to like shave the shirt off.
yeah.
So first, when I've gone through all of that, then I think I will go in and like, as you say, like add a little bit more like birdie stuff on the legs and the arms and so
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, I mean, you could also like add some like say fingernails or something, sort of make it like a bit more claw-like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because Magnus' hand already has like quite pointed fingernails, whereas this
Yeah,
like the model I'm using has a very like humanoid hand on the other side, because he already had like a staff, so I kept that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm working with the Magnus model as we're going to talk about shortly, and
Hmm.
there's like feathers on the so like the calves and on the forearms and stuff like that. So
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I should just like have a look. I think I have some of the small little feather bits also, so maybe I can just like shave those down and like put them on the knees or something, so I don't have to
yeah,
like sculpt
exactly.
everything.
So is your plan to make say like unique greater demons for each of the gods?
Yeah, so this is the thing. Like when I started the army, that wasn't my plan, but I think it has become it has become that like now because
Classic.
it feels really like fun to do. Like it makes me
Yeah.
really enthusiastic. So I already had the plan of making the Glotkin into my Great Unclean One, and then I still haven't been 100% decided what the Bloodthirster is, and I'm also trying to like hold off on instead of just buying another conversion before I even finish the other ones, if you know what I mean. But we were discussing some ideas, and we'll see once the time comes. But I feel like okay, first I should probably at least get these two like built, and maybe
Get them built
undercoated.
and maybe play with them a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of just
Well,
like buying kits for I don't know 200 euros and just putting it to the shelf.
that's like one of the most depressing things is like when you paint something really nicely, then it just goes in the box or in the shelf or whatever, and
Yeah.
it's never actually used for anything.
Yeah, exactly. Or like I remember I had a few things in the past which I like built, and then I played with them before I even started painting it, and I realized this is not fun at all to play with, and I just that's like this massive conversion just goes somewhere in the closet.
Okay, so you have your Glotkin for the Great and Clean one. You have
Yeah.
this like Storm Giant with the Phoenix head for the Lord of Change. You have
Yeah.
the Xerxes guy for the Keeper of Secrets. So what's the plan for the Bloodthirster?
So what I've looked at so far, because I thought like I really don't like the Bloodthirster mole itself, and then I start googling like 3D prints or whatever, and they all kind of look a bit generic.
Yeah,
So, but there was like a 3D print that inspired me. I don't know if you played Warcraft 3. Um,
no.
no, so there's like a demon in that which is like called a pit lord or something, and it's essentially like a four-legged beast with like wings and a big spear. and somebody had essentially made a model that very much resembled like this thing in the game. And I thought like, oh shit, why don't I make a Bloodthirster that has 4 legs instead of just 2? Because that will make it look, let's say different enough conceptually
Unique.
as well.
Yeah.
And then I started googling for that, but I quickly realized like it's the problem with 3D prints always, right? Is that you just get like a different model, and then like let's say the wow factor reduces quite a lot, even if you then convert that model as well, because people just assume it's just a 3D print.
Yeah.
So I had like a similar idea as you. I was like, I want to use the Games Workshop kit, so it's very clear that I've done something,
Yeah.
Uh,
You kind of get the recognition of having modified a model.
Yeah, exactly. So then I just started thinking like, oh, which Games Workshop kits are there? And they released for Age of Sigmar this big like centaur guy for I think for destruction, like the orc and ogre faction.
Do you know what it's
I don't
called?
really. That is a good question. I know I don't remember what it's called. But I think if you go to like destruction in Age of Sigmar,
I'm searching now. But
yeah, so I think people will know which model this is if they're into like Games Workshop stuff. But it's because it's like the massive centaur. Because he has like a really dynamic pose where he's like standing up on like a bit of a cliff, and and like I think the proportions and stuff fit really well for being a Bloodthirster. And then I was like, okay, well, but I like the Bloodthirster wings. So the idea right now, and pending until further notice, let's say, is that I would take the base, like the body of the centaur, and then
it's
put
called Kragnos.
Kragnos, okay.
Oh, shit name.
And then, yeah, well, I don't feel like they didn't really succeed with the naming when it came to Age of Sigmar, let's say.
So sorry, I interrupted you. So you're having this guy.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think I would take the Bloodthirster wings and maybe like some stuff like maybe a head from Bloodthirster kit or something to make it more recognizable as a Bloodthirster.
Yeah.
And then just
the
essentially
head's a
just
bit weird.
yeah, the Kragnos head is it's shit, or at least his mouth is like all weird, basically.
Yeah.
So then I would just put like a different head on, put on the wings, and then depending on how the kits go together, like maybe give him like the weapons or something from the Bloodthirster kit as well to make it a bit more like recognizable.
Corny, yeah. Corny, yeah. Yeah, I think this could be really cool. Obviously, it's a bit of like an excessive conversion, but sure.
Yeah.
Why not? Like,
Yeah, definitely.
You're already down the rabbit hole at this point.
Yeah, this is a bit like my Necrosphinx conversion back in the day, where I was like, that one is even worse because it was 3 kits to build one model. Because I bought a Sphinx, I bought a giant that he's like cutting the head off, and I bought a Phoenix for the wings. So it was just
this model is massive. Just FYI,
yeah,
it's like the
I
same
know.
time as like the big giant kit, and if you're
Yeah,
putting wings on it as well.
So this one stands on a 130 millimeter base, and I think the Bloodthirster is on 100 or something. But
yeah, but you can also make it on 100 mil, no problem.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, this one might need like a double like magnetic job where maybe like the torso is magnetized to like the let's say horse part
it in a box, right?
Yeah, and then also the wings.
Yeah. I mean, there's many things that you can do with this. You could also take the tail off and put like a whippy tail or like some kind of demon tail on it, just to make it a little bit different. Or there's many options that you have here, and I think it's quite an unusual conversion, and you could basically do however you want with it. There's lots of things you could do. Obviously, you probably don't want the shield because that's just going to distract from the model itself. Give it I guess Bloodthirster is like classically like an axe and a whip. So if you're going to buy both kits anyway, you're going to have the whip. So that's going to be quite an easy weapon swap.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you can like either you keep the arms, but just to keep like let's say the dynamism of the pose intact and just pin in the weapons, or you could probably also just change the arms depending on like how it works out. It's like a little bit difficult to tell, I think, just looking at the flat sprues and so on.
Know. If it was me, I would like to make it like a bit more like dynamic, like twist the torso a little bit more to make it look like it's swinging. But you don't know how it's kind of going to fit together and how the sprue is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. Like for me, I wouldn't say I'm as advanced as you when it comes to the kit batches, but like so a lot of times I also look at things and then I go like, okay, can I achieve this kind of thing? Because like sometimes if you make like if you make the plan too big and then you just like you end up just like kind of shooting yourself in the foot, right? It's like if
So to me,
if you bite off too
uh,
much.
to me, I kind of agree, but I also disagree like vehemently with what you're saying, because for me, it's more like you have the vision of what you want to do,
Yeah.
and then you problem solve your way out of the hole that you dig yourself.
Yeah, sure.
Because that's like how I've kind of say like learned to be good at kit bashing and converting is that okay, I bought myself a Magnus model to make into an avatar of Kane, and every time I look at this model, I'm like, this is impossible. Like, why have I done this? It's such an expensive model. It's so difficult to do. And then I'm just going down, I'm sort of forcing myself, okay, I'm having to resculpt the entire head. Okay, I'm having to resculpt. I'm just going to have to learn to sculpt like hands right now because the hands are too like the wrong size.
Oh
Um,
man.
so it's just like this is how you learn to do stuff. You sort of buy yourself into a conversion rabbit hole that you have to dig yourself out of, and that's how you learn.
Yeah, no, that's. I mean, this is also good advice, to be honest. And I feel like that actually thinking back on like how I've gotten more enthusiastic about conversions, it is a little bit this process. Like I think for me, I feel like I talked about this way back, before we became 40K podcast as well. That like the biggest thing for me was to kind of lose the respect for the models that I bought, if that makes sense. Because I used to like I used to go like, oh, I spend all this money on all these models or whatever, or like I only have a single one of these and it's like a special model or whatever. And then I'd be too scared to like actually go through with the vision that I had. And I have loads of
Yeah,
like conversion projects like this, which are half built because I get to the difficult point, and then I'm just too scared to like carry on. And it wasn't
yeah,
until I actually started getting like some recasted stuff where I didn't give a shit about the models, and then I was just like, oh, this is really fun when you just like kind of push through. And sometimes the conversions are not as good as you want them to be. And I feel like it's like with painting, right? Like it's okay. I think this is also why most people don't develop as painters is because they're too worried that they will fuck
make a
up.
mess of it. Yeah,
But the
the worst
truth
thing
is
that
that
worst thing that can happen is you paint over it again.
yeah, but to me, it's like the truth is that all of us we have too much shit in our cupboards. So if
Yeah,
you have one paint job that is not as good as you wanted it to be, but you learned something, then it's fine. And I
yeah.
think it's kind of the same with conversions, to be honest.
I also feel that the people are not scrutinizing your models that much.
No.
So if you make like a small mistake here, or like your milliput is not exactly a straight line, or like there's a little bit like wobbly, and I mean you can a lot of things you can fix with a paint job because you can highlight it. Like you can do an edge highlight that's not exactly on the edge and it looks like it's on the edge, and because
Yeah,
you've
for
not
sure.
done like an exactly like perpendicular line to like a corner, you can just sort of paint it and make it look like a straight line. So yeah, what I think what we're both trying to say is that when you're doing these conversion projects or like say like difficult painting projects, just go for it, do it. If you make a mistake, it's not a problem. Learn from it, and it's probably not even going to be that bad.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Like in the end, probably you're the only one that really cares.
Yeah,
Being honest,
yeah,
like.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and in the grand scheme of things, people are not even going to notice.
Yeah, exactly. Because then you turn up to the table and the guy has like, half of it's unpainted and the rest is like sprayed and one layer of contrast. So like it'll be okay.
Yeah, yeah. Like the eyes are like painted with like a paintbrush that you used to paint the wall with.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know we said that we weren't going to talk about hobby in that much detail, but we have. But this is Casimir's turn to go into depth with what he's doing, but mine's going to be a bit shorter.
Mhm.
I think in the last couple of weeks I've actually done quite a bit, to be honest. I decided that because I want to get better at 40k and play like a stronger list, I bought a Lycus model, which is like the Phoenix Lord for the Warp Spiders. I think it's really strong in the game.
Never heard this name before. I was like, what the fuck is that? Oh, okay, it's a Spider-Man. Yeah, sure.
I bought Spider-Man for the Eldar and started painting that. I painted one of the Shroud Runners, like the Ranger jet bike guys. I
Yeah, this
finished
was
that
actually like some of the
today.
first models that we bought, like because we bought that kit, like that
Yes.
combined Chaos and like Ranger kit, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it's just not something that I've wanted to play with. So it's kind of been at the back of the pile of shame for a year, and I sort of got round to it, and yeah, it was a nice model to paint. I did it the same sort of style as the rest of the Rangers that I painted, which has like
Yeah.
2 different types of camo on it, which is just a fucking ball ache to paint. But
Yeah, I mean it looks so good when it's done though. I
yeah,
love
it
they
does
look
look
so
nice.
like glam rock, or something, Like I'm envisioning these guys, with the massive hair and the leotards on stage.
Yeah, exactly. If they were rock stars, they would be wearing the capes and the like camo leotards on stage and doing
Yeah,
like
it's actually
lunges and squats and stuff.
yeah, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, but I guess you could join the Discord and have a look at the pictures if you're interested.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
we'll say that like all the stuff we're doing, we share there,
yeah,
right? So
yeah,
just get on.
exactly. Um, and what else? Yeah, I've been doing a little bit more work on my avatar model as we've been discussing. I think in the last week I've repositioned the hands slightly and started to sculpt the fingers. I actually
Yeah.
sculpted the first finger in Milliput today. I haven't posted the picture yet, but I guess once I've done a few more fingers, I'll probably put it up.
Okay.
But it's coming together now. This model, like I'm sort of halfway. I'd say I'm about halfway now, and I'm really excited to actually paint it.
Yeah.
My plan is to sort of do a lot of freehand and a lot of like different runes and stuff on the armor, and yeah, I think it's gonna be really good when it's done.
Yeah, I think it's gonna look amazing, and you definitely like you're going like the extra mile, because I know you really didn't like that the hands were different sized, but I feel like you could have probably gone away with just going like, oh, this is a demon hand, whatever, because it's like kind of a demon thing, but
My old
I mean
system
you
does not
really
allow me.
exactly.
It's like no, it's not. It has to be accurate. It has to be historically accurate to the
Yeah,
Eldar.
exactly. Lore accurate, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if we talked about this in the last podcast, but basically, like the Magnus, the red model has like his like right hand is like sort of reaching out, and it's like perfect because the Avatar of Cain has to have this like bloody hand which is sort of like grasping out.
Yeah.
But what I realise is that he's been wanking too much in Prospero, and basically his like right arm is like jacked, and his hand
Yeah.
is humongous. Clearly,
Yeah, because
clearly in proportion to whatever he's packing.
yeah, for sure.
But
But this is also the thing when you're like the Lord of Psychers. Like he could essentially just like stream whatever fantasy he wants in like full HD in his mind's eye. So he's busy, let's say.
yeah, so his right hand is humongous, and his left hand is tiny, and there was a bit of a disparity in the hand size. So I was like, okay, I can either build up the left hand to be the same size as the right hand, or I can chop off the right hand and resculpt it to fit the size of the left hand. And actually, what I've decided to do is to resculpt both hands so that they're both the same size. And the right hand is a bit smaller, and the left hand is a bit bigger, so that they're like say like a normal size. But yeah, maybe this is excessive. Maybe I'm just crazy, but this is what I've decided to do, and so far it's worked. Let's see. Let's see how it turns out.
Yeah. I think it will turn out well, but you have your work cut out for you, definitely.
Yeah. So to basically to cut a long story short, I've put like 5 pins in for the thumb and the four fingers of the right hand. That's what I will be sculpting in the next week. But yeah,
Yeah.
I finished like the chest, say like decorations this week, and I've almost like finished the fur on his legs because it's like they have the descended legs for Magnus. He's like a beast, half like a beast kind of guy,
Yeah, they're
and
like bent back, right? Like
yeah,
a
exactly.
goat or
So
something.
yeah, yeah, like a bird, I guess.
Bird, yeah, yeah.
they have feathers, so I kind of cut the feathers off and started sculpting fur instead of the feathers to make it look a little bit more, say, like elven,
Yeah.
natural looking. And I've added hooves as well because I thought that feet would be a bit weird on like like bent back legs. So he's got hooves and fur instead of feathers and claws. Yeah, it's coming together quite nicely. And then yeah, as I said, I built Leica, so I made a slight modification to it because I didn't really like the webby portally thing
Yeah,
that it's
like
jumping out of.
it's like a stream of cum coming out from behind him.
Yeah, exactly. Like just jumping in jizz and making a big splash, a big puddle of jizz, making like a web-shaped splash.
It's like,
Didn't like
oh,
the
he
idea
does
of
mortal wounds to everybody around him. What? Okay.
that. Special grenade pack. Yeah, so I cut all of like the webby bits off and glued it to like the base just like that, and then I also took off the little all the warp spider exarch, or well all the warp spiders in general. They have these little like clawy like mandible things on the helmets, and I
Yeah.
think they look a bit weird. So I basically like I chopped them off and added some different ones because I just to make it look a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's it. I haven't posted any pictures of it yet because I haven't like really started on it. So that's basically the hobby I've done in the last weeks. So I want to take a quick break because I've run out of beer,
Yeah, same.
and I'm probably going to get beer and the rest of the bottle of wine that I started for dinner, and then we can go into the next section. So I don't know if you want to pause.
Yes. We're back.
And we're back. So what's the next segment, Casimir? Is it how to hobby?
Yes, indeed.
Do you have a topic? Do you have a topic for today?
So I don't really have like one where I'm teaching anybody anything because like what I've been doing is kind of learning, you know. So the one thing I would talk about is that, or that I've learned rather than like how to do something is like the power of letting the milliput cure a bit before you use it for certain things. Because
Okay. Yeah.
so for example, now I have like two models, right? And one of them is more like gap filling because it's a full sculpt. I don't really have to mod, or I'm not planning to modify almost anything. And then it's really good to use like the milliput when it's fresh because you want it to like really go into like all the crevices, whatever, and be smooth. And then in the other one, maybe I'm like trying to build up more of a like let's say shape when I'm trying to attach like the wings, for example, to the back. Oh, and then obviously you need to sculpt like a bit of structure and muscle and stuff like that. And then it's like much better when it's cured a bit. Because like what I would do in the past, I would just roll up milliput and then try to use it. And then, if you try to build like a 3D structure when it's super fresh and it's just like
Yeah,
squishy
that's
and
true.
you can't do anything with it,
Yeah, that's true.
So
I guess when if you leave it for 10 minutes or so, it gets a bit harder. So you can build more extended shapes with it. Otherwise, you need to use like a pin or some sort of wire frame. Otherwise, it's too soft.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And I think I'm
that's a
just
good little tip.
yeah. So I would say I'm just like too impatient to like roll it and then leave it. But it's really good when you have like two different things. So you could like use the fresh one for one thing, and then once you're done with that, then you're like, oh, now this is perfect for whatever else I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I guess if you sort of time it in a way that you're doing like one thing first and then the other thing second, then it's probably like you can sort of you can get away with your impatience. I mean, I'm also exactly the same. But
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, usually if I need to do some sort of structure where like I need to sculpt something like say organically that isn't maybe yeah if, if I have to do something which is sort of like freestanding without any yeah without having to wait for it to cure, then I would
Mm,
use like a wire structure underneath and build on top of the
yeah.
wire structure so there's something firm that I can sort of press against.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think that's also really good. What I've also used, which I've just like kind of read online, is to just if you have big shapes, I use aluminum foil to like fill out the shape before I put any like putty on top, and that works pretty well. So I like
Yeah,
essentially just for the neck of this bird, for example, because like it was the whole neck area was just air, and I needed to, and I didn't want to like mix up loads of milliputs that it just fills out this, right? So you do need
yeah.
very little aluminum foil that you just crush up, put it in there, drop some super glue or whatever on top to make it not run away from you, and then you can just sculpt on
Yeah,
top.
I also use sprues a lot for the same thing.
Oh, okay.
So I would build up like a shape with a sprue, and then milli put on top. So, or even like for example, the Magnus model that I'm using for my Avatar of Cain, it has like the holes for the wings that you're supposed to glue the wings in.
Yeah.
But obviously there's no wings on this model because it's the Avatar of Cain, and you also have the wings.
Yeah,
So
exactly. The wings are being put to good use.
so you're being used somewhere else. So basically, I just like filled the holes with sprues, and then like milli put it over the top to make the structure. So I didn't have to use so much milli put, and also you have like a solid structure underneath. So if you're pressing too hard,
Yeah,
you'll
you
just
don't
like make a shape.
deform.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But that's a
that's
good
definitely
good
like
little tip.
a big pitfall, like pushing stuff too hard and it just deforms everything around it. You're like, oh,
Yeah,
sad.
and for me, like someone who uses milli put a lot, I say like the biggest tip that you can have is take your time. Don't do everything at once. Just do small like sessions of milliput. Like your milliput session should be 20 minutes max, and you should
Yeah,
just do a
this is
little
like
bit and leave it, let it dry, come back to it the next day.
the most frustrating part of sculpting. And I think maybe I need to start setting it up where I'm painting and then I'm going like the first thing I do in a session is like a little bit of sculpting,
Milliput,
put it to the
yeah,
side, and then paint. Whereas now
that's
I'm like,
exactly what I do every time.
yeah. I mean, now I'm only sculpting really, but because I have those two things, I can kind of like go between them a little bit. But I've been itching to paint actually, so maybe I'll get some projects out.
Yeah, but as you said, like that's exactly what I do. I do the first thing I do is I sculpt some milliput, and then I go to paint, and then I finish my session, and then the next time I pick up my stuff is I'm doing a little bit of milliput, and then I'm going to paint.
Yeah. Okay, what have you been doing? What's your tip?
So I have some learnings from doing some transfers because just before the tournament that I went to last week, I decided I'm going to put all the transfers on the models that I've been like, avoiding putting transfers on,
Yeah,
basically.
sure.
So I'd ordered these like custom transfers for like say like my army subfaction that I've sort of half invented, half took from the codex. I got these basically on Etsy. There's like a guy who's making custom transfers, and they look pretty nice. And there's obviously like I have like tanks and I have like jet bikes and stuff that could do with some transfer love. So I would just decided to I'm going to a tournament this weekend. It would be nice to compete for best painted, so I'm just going to put all the transfers on that I've been putting off. And I was really struggling with it beforehand, and I'm still really struggling with it. But I've learned quite a lot, so I've got a few tips for people who are like struggling with it as well. So I think also the transfers that I've got are quite big, so it makes it more difficult.
Mhm.
Obviously, the smaller ones are way easier. Um, but I
Yeah.
use the micro sol and micro set. So basically, I cut the transfer out, I like douse it in water so it's soft, and I put a bit of micro set on it, and also a bit of micro set on the place where I'm going to put the transfer on the model. But actually, before I do anything, I gloss varnish the place that I'm going to put the transfer on because then you don't fuck
Yeah.
up the paint job if you make a mistake. So that's really essential tip.
Yeah.
So gloss varnish
It
first.
also removes the friction a lot, right? So I think that's in general really good because glossy
Yeah,
surfaces are just more smooth.
yeah. So gloss varnish first. Then once it's dry, put a little bit of micro set on the surface as well. So then when you put the transfer on, you already have a little bit of like the solution to sort of shape it to the contours of the model. Um, Yeah, so and I found the best method of removing the transfer from the paper is using tweezers. I've tried using a sponge, I've tried using my fingers, I've tried using it like I've tried using the really sharp knife, I've tried using the non-sharp knife, I've tried using like paintbrush. The best thing is tweezers. Just tweezer the corner and then like sort of like brush the transfer onto the place that you want it. Keep the
Mhm.
tweezers nice and tight until you're happy, and then let go. And
Okay, so you can always like kind of pull it off if
yeah,
it
yeah,
goes badly.
because once you've let go of it, it's really hard to realign it. So make sure you get the alignment correct with the tweezers, and then let go. And then I use a cotton bud to sort of like roll the transfer on, and also at the same time remove the liquid.
Yeah, and like the bubbles and whatever.
Yeah.
Smooth it out, I guess.
And then once it's like in place, like I use a tiny bit of micro salt and the paintbrush I just dab it on slightly so that you don't move. You're not like you're not dabbing it so hard that you can move the transfer, but just slightly so that it and the microsol helps the transfer set into place. Once it's set and dry, another coat of gloss varnish and then a coat of lime medium to take away the sheen.
Yeah.
And this is my say like transfer application process.
So would you say it's foolproof now, or is this still like under development, so to say?
I say it's not foolproof because I routinely fuck it up, but my backup is sort of to freehand these things, and now I'm at a point where I'm more comfortable with doing a transfer than I'm with spending time doing a freehand.
Yeah, I mean your symbol is also relatively. I mean, it's not super complex, but it's complex enough where it's gonna take a while if you want to do that on like almost every model.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want to do it on almost every model, but it's more like I still don't want to have to do it on, say, like 5 models because it's a lot.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like this is for me with the transfers as well as
I've done it on a few already, but
the
transfer is just easier.
Yeah, it makes sense if you're like, okay, well, all these guys are gonna have like this icon, and then yeah, it's worthwhile with the transfers. But if you have like a single hero who's gonna have an emblem or something, and that it's unique in the army, then it feels like, okay, well, maybe you just freehand it, right? But
yeah. But I bought the transfers now, and they're quite easy to apply, or at least I've figured out how to do it. I think I've destroyed about 6 transfers in the process. But
yeah, well, if it's not a model, if destroying a transfer is fine. It would be more problematic if you like destroyed 6 paint jobs.
Well, I destroyed a few paint jobs and had to repaint them in the process.
Oh well.
Excuse me. That's how it is. Okay, so I want to move on to a new section of the podcast.
Oh, new section.
And this is a bit of a new section. It's a bit like how to hobby, but it's more like how to play Warhammer. So this section is the theory hammer section.
Okay, interesting.
So it's going to be like I want to hear, because I feel like right now we're ticking all of the background section of the hobby because we do a lot of like fluff stuff, and I want to keep continuing to do that. And I also feel like we're doing a lot of hobby stuff, so we're ticking the hobby section of the podcast, but we're not really doing much about the gaming section. So I want to add a section in here which is more about like a gaming thing, like a combo that you have found, or something fun that you think is good, like a good like combo or a good like play or a good tactic or something that you have in here that you can theory hammer, and you can say, okay, this works really nicely on the table.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start, and then you can get some inspiration from mine.
Sure.
So my combo that I'm playing with right now, and we're probably going to go into a bit more detail on this as we get into the main topic of the show, but my combo that I'm working on right now is the Eldrad Farseer Warwalker combo.
Okay.
And for those that are still following, obviously I'm playing Eldar because we've been talking about Eldar consistently for like the last year. So Eldrad has a special rule that if you're within 18 inches of Eldrad at the end of the movement phase, I can say, okay, this unit within 18 inches and within line of sight, all my attacks against that unit gets +1 to wound.
Okay.
Which is really good.
Yeah.
And then the Farseer has basically the same thing. Anything within 18 inches of the Farseer at the end of the movement phase, I can just choose that unit and I get +1 to hit.
Oh, so you get +1/+1. That's really good.
Yes.
Okay.
But yes. In principle, yes. And then a Warwalker, which is like a support unit in the Eldar, anything that is hit by the Warwalker, I can get +1 AP for all the attacks against that unit.
Okay.
And it's both shooting and close combat.
Wow. That's really powerful.
Yeah, so it's really good if you want to focus fire and stuff. Obviously, you need Eldrad, which is 120 points. You need a Farseer, which is 70, 80 points. You need 2 units that both these characters go in, which is probably another 200 points. A Warwalker is like 85 points. So this is like a 500 point
It's a
combo burger
it's a big
that you're
combo.
eating.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but it's really good. So let's say, for example, you have like a Farseer, Saturn, 10 Guardian Defenders, which is tends to be the unit my Farseer goes in. If you have Eldrad like ploinking +1 to wound against it, the Farseer ploinking +1 to hit against it, and a Warwalker coming on from strategic reserves with 48-inch range missile launcher with D6 shots to say, so long as I hit one of those shots,
Yeah.
I'm getting +1 AP as well on the everything else. So you can shoot your 10 Guardians into a unit, hitting on the 2+ with 20 shots. It's strength 4 with +1 to wound, and it's AP 2, which is quite tasty.
Yeah, exactly. Like even the shit shots suddenly become quite good when it's +1/+1
Yeah,
and +1 AP.
yeah, exactly. So this is my like combo of the month is the Eldrad Farseer Warwalker combo. And as I said, like I in my current list I have 2 Warwalkers. One of them usually I pull on from strategic reserve so that I can bring it in, and then whatever I want to combo, I can make sure that that Warwalker is in a place where it can provide the +1 AP to a unit.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I mean, you can also kind of do the half combo as well, which is like just the Farseer or just Eldrad and the Warwalker as well. So you can really you can bring it on when you need it as well. So it's
Yeah.
quite flexible in that respect.
Yeah, I feel like in 40K, it's a game that really benefits from you like guaranteeing that things happen. Like something I've learned
Yeah,
is like you need to always overkill. Like every time I thought, oh, maybe like maybe I don't need this buff, it always bites me in the ass, just
yeah,
because like it in fantasy, if you leave like one guy, probably he fails his leadership test, and then you're gonna run him down, right? Whereas in 40K, it's like one guy is still one guy, and he's probably
one
fine.
guy is like objective points for your opponent.
Yeah, exactly. Or you don't get your objective because your objective was to kill something, or kill something on objective or
Yeah,
whatever it was. So like you always want to overkill. So like being able to stack things like this, I think is really powerful.
yeah, and it also it like sort of allows you to kill stuff above your pay grade, if you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
for sure.
Like let's say like 10 Guardian defenders have no business shooting at a tank.
Yeah,
Absolutely no business. But strength 4 with +1 to wound. I mean, okay, let's say like 20 shots hitting on 2s is what, 17, 18 hits against a tank, which normally you're wounding on 6s, you're suddenly now wounding on 5s.
yeah,
Well, that's 6 wounds, and it's AP 2. So if your tank's got a 3+ save or a 2+ save, that's three wounds gone through.
yeah,
So it's not a lot, but if you're comboing it with other stuff, it can be quite tasty. And you know, you put like the unit of guardians in there. You get the bright lance in there with +1 to hit, +1 to wound. You've
yeah,
got the
exactly.
Farseer also shooting D6 shots, +1 to hit, +1 to wound. AP 3 with the Farseer shots, and then damage D3 for each wound.
Yeah,
Yeah, it can add up, and
yeah, for sure.
it's really nice.
Yeah, I can imagine. And you can always add in other units, right, and get the same benefits if like that unit didn't
Yeah,
do the job.
exactly.
And
This is just one
yeah,
example, which is where it works quite well. And there's also things like Dire Avengers where 5 guys have 20 shots or 24 shots if you choose the double shuriken cannon.
yeah, for sure.
So that's also a unit that can work quite well. They also have sustained hits too, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so do you have a spicy combo?
So yeah, so I think I was racking my brain a little bit. So one thing I would talk about is so there's I play Shadow Legion for demons, and there's an enhancement in Shadow Legion which essentially lets one of your heroes scout 9 inches, which is really far. Like normally scout is like 6 inches or something, but you can scout 9, which really allows you to like alpha strike in the game. And so this is really
Can you add that to anything that can fight?
Yeah, so basically it's like any character can take it. So as long as you need to have somebody you can attach to a unit, or you could obviously give a bloodthirster Scout 9 if you wanted to, for example. Like it,
that seems really
yeah,
good.
like I think that's also like something interesting. But
Or a great and clean one.
yeah, I mean like whatever, right? But so it's definitely Fury Hammer because I haven't used this so much. But the
Well, that's the
yeah.
name of the segment, Casimir.
Exactly. So the problem I would say that I've encountered with this enhancement is that people can use infiltrators to block you. So because you're not allowed to scout within what is it 9 or something of or is it 9 or 12? I don't remember, at a certain distance of enemy models. So if they just like deploy a line of infiltrators in front of your deployment zone, then you just get fucked basically. But so I would say like the combo is that you get a unit of your own infiltrators that you can use to then like kind of pave the way for your like scouting alpha strike unit. And I like to
Ooh.
put this on the unit bloodletters actually, because their character you need a character to attach, right? And their character gives the unit +1 to wound base, which is already good, but he also gives the unit
Okay.
consolidated 6.
Oh,
I think
wow.
that's like what makes it really good. So the bloodletters are already like quite fighty. They're like damage 2, strength 5, AP 2, I think, base.
Uh-huh.
And then you
This is the actual combo that you were running previously.
exactly. So then you have like this unit of 10 guys that are like strength 5 +1 wound, 2 damage, but they're scouting 9. And then when they go into something, even if they don't kill it, they can still like consolidate 6 and like tag something else, or like consolidate around the edge of a tank, whatever, to the other side of it, and like get in the way. And they also have like an annoying rule where anytime you want to fall back from this unit, you have to take desperate escape tests. So normally you take those only when you're like surrounded, and you have to like move through enemy models to escape combat. But for bloodletters, it's like
Yeah.
anytime you just move away from a bloodletter, you have to take that. And it's basically on a 1 or a 2, your model dies.
Wow. Okay. So I mean, this is really annoying to play against
Yeah.
because, as you say, you can just move them up the board really fast. You can maybe tag 2, maybe 3 units if your opponent lets
Yeah,
you.
exactly. If they make a
And then
mistake, right?
if they or you can consolidate. You can fight something, then consolidate into another unit, and then if they want to get those stuff out of combat, then they have to take escape
Yeah,
tests.
exactly. I think the idea is like you just disrupt what your opponent wants to do, right? Because and they're really fast. They have like base movement 8, and then they have run and charge as well. So you can imagine you move 9, then you move 8, then you run or advance, whatever it's called, and then you also charge.
Yeah, nice. Okay, cool combo. So hopefully we're scratching your gaming itch now, listeners.
Yeah, for sure. Okay,
Yeah.
so
So
let's do main topic, I guess.
main topic of the show, yes. So basically, this is sort of leading into like the first tournament that I ended up playing at the weekend. Um, yeah, this is going to be a bit of a monologue, I guess, about my list and how it's developed over, basically the last year, but not really. Like the last couple of months, like what I've been thinking, like
Sure.
how I've been changing. Obviously, it's sort of Eldar oriented, so it's going to be very focused around like the Eldar list and the Eldar, I guess, called
Like
codex
how to run away,
data
how
sheets.
to not get shot, like all this important
I
information.
wouldn't say that so much that, but more like the choices that I've taken in the list and like why I've chosen what I've
So
chosen. So I
yeah,
mean,
sure, but start with
obviously,
setting the scene maybe of the tournament and like where you went and so on.
yeah. I think let's do the list first, and then we
Okay.
can get to the tournament afterwards. So I started collecting Eldar like at the end of start of last year. So I've been doing it for a year now. We're sort of February 2026 right now, and I started January last year, 2025. And I started off with the Combat Patrol, like the old one with the Guardians and the Wraith Lord, Farseer, and the Wind Riders, and basically like playing like the basic War Host detachment where you get like the extra battle focus tokens and you get a little bit faster movement and stuff like that. That was kind of the list I was building. And then I had this idea to play Seer Council. And Seer Council is a detachment which is, say, like more infantry psyker focused. So all the stratagems revolve around psykers being within 9 inches of stuff, and most of the stratagems
Is it like nine
you have to be
inches
like
of enemies or 9 inches of like
9 inches of a psyker.
so your
So you
friendly
have to have lots
models?
of psych. Yeah, your friendly psykers. So you have to be within 9 inches of a psyker model to sort of trigger the stratagem,
Yeah, sure.
basically. And a lot of the stratagems revolve around infantry. So it's sort of if you have aspect warriors or you have guardians or like stuff like that, basically allows you to maximize the potential of this detachment. And also because I like to do different stuff to say like the mainstream thing, where the mainstream last year was like aspect host and the war host. It was like more cool for me to play something a bit edgy, which was the Seer Council. And so I was playing Seer Council quite a bit, but what I realized is that I didn't have the list to play Seer Council because I had like a Wraith Lord, I had the Wind Riders, and these things just didn't benefit from all the stratagems that were built around infantry.
Yeah, so you're like an
So I think
excuse to
if
buy more
you're
models. Perfect.
well, yeah, but I couldn't, I physically couldn't build enough and or buy enough and build enough and paint enough infantry models in time for this tournament or the tournament that I have planned in April.
Yeah,
So basically, I decided that I had to go back to the Warhost detachment because one, it was more simple, it was more like easy to play, and I just didn't have the models to do the Seer Council because I think there's some really interesting combos with Seer Council. One of the stratagems is that you can teleport
hmm
like anywhere on the table, and you can also teleport out of combat. So it's quite fun, and that's definitely my style. But I just don't have the models for right now to do it. And there's also the Corsair Void Reavers, Void Scarred. They have like a Psyker model in the unit, so that I was like, okay, if
Oh,
I have a couple of units of those
yeah, that's
guys,
cool.
then they can kind of be like the bunkers that like projecting the 9 inch bubble of
Yeah,
stratagems. But I was waiting a little bit to see if the Corsair models are coming out, which they are coming out. So I'm going to buy them at some point and then maybe go back to Seer Council.
sure.
So there's a lot of reasons basically why I've moved away from Seer Council back to Warhost. Um, and the Warhost detachment was using like the last year before it changed. You could jump back into transports with the stratagems, and now you can't. So that was
Oh,
another thing that changed as well. So before you could like jump out of the transport, shoot something, then jump back in the
yeah,
transport. But now you can't do that because they changed the rules. So I had to like sort of contend with that as well. So now I'm playing Warhost, still playing Warhost, but with like not able to do that. And so my list has gone through. What I'm trying to say is my list has gone through a lot of iterations,
sure.
and I think that if you want to play Seer Council, I think you need to use different units to what I have in my army.
Yeah,
Um, and mostly, I think you need to build it around infantry um, to actually make the Seer Council detachment work. And yeah, I just don't have the models for that.
but like, what kind of infantry is
But
it? Is
in the
it
end,
like
I just
is it more of the aspect warriors, or like which infantry is it that you need?
well, as I said, I think you can make it work really nicely with the Corsair Void Guard because they're like a nice bunker unit, and
Yeah,
they have I think one or two psycho models in the unit, so you can get quite a big projection of your stratagems,
sure.
and you have to get the stratagems to you have to get the stratagems out to your army to make the detachment work.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's very difficult. There's like, for example, there's one stratagem which is basically gives your any infantry unit a lone op 18
Oh,
inches,
that's good. Yeah.
but you have to be within 9 inches of a psycho model to make the stratagem work. So you have to have these like psycho models throughout your army. Like I started like with I bought a couple of warlock models from China,
Mm,
and that was like my intent was to use the warlocks as part of the Seer Council. But in the end, I didn't play the Seer Council, and they kind of stayed in my list because I thought they were also good in Warhost anyway.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, that was like kind of like part of the thought process, let's say, behind that. But yeah, so I went back to Warhost for the tournament in Roskilde, which I played last weekend, and maybe I can just go through my list really quickly,
Yep,
and
sure.
then we can talk about some of the choices. So it's Eldrad, obviously, because he gives extra CPs. Fuegan, because he's really good. An Autark, a Farseer, Farseer Skyrunner, because I had a Farseer Skyrunner model. Not because I think it's that good, but it's what I've been playing with, and it makes it
Yeah,
my
exactly.
point.
It's painted. It looks good.
It's painted. Yeah. 5 Corsair Void Reavers, one with like a blaster, which is like an anti-tank weapon. Guardian Defenders with a Bright Lance. Storm Guardians with all the tools. 5 Fire Dragons with a Dragon Fusion Gun. 5 Fire Dragons with a Fire Pike. 5 Howling Banshees with an Executioner. 5 Rangers. 5 Striking Scorpions with Biting Blade. 2 Warlock Conclave. 5 Warp Spiders with a Death Spinner. 3 Shining Spears. 1 Warlock Skyrunner, 3 Wind Riders, 3 Wind Riders, a Falcon, and 2 Warwalkers. So that's my list that I ran this weekend, or last weekend. I mean, I don't know how detailed to go into like the list design, but I'd say mostly it's just the models that I have painted.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a very detailed design.
Rather than anything specific, I can say like I have Eldred because he gives the extra CPs, and I like having the CPs in the bank because it makes me feel safe. It's like a security blanket in some way.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
Fuegan's good anti-tank stuff. The Autark's good because he usually goes into Howling Banshees and just sort of force multipliers them. The Farseer for the Farseer Eldrad combo that I've talked about. The Farseer Skyrunner because it's fun to Overwatch stuff in the Wind Rider unit, and it's also painted. The Corsair Void Reavers are purely for grabbing objectives and denying objectives. The Guardian Defenders because I think like the volume of fire is quite good. The Storm Guardians because Eldrad needs a bunker, and also like with the the Warlock Conclave in there as well. It can be quite a tasty Overwatch unit. I mean, just to dig into that a little bit more, you have 2 Flamers in the Storm Guardians. You have 2 Fusion Guns, which are like anti-tank units.
Yeah.
And you have 6 pistols. You have Eldrad and you have 2 Warlocks, and the Warlocks do another D6 flamer each.
Oh, so you have
and they
4
get plus,
flamers basically.
So 4 flamers, and the Warlocks are basically essentially D6 plus 2 because they get +1 for each friendly Psycho model within however many inches within 6 inches.
But they're all in the same
+2.
units as these.
But they're all in the same unit, so they get D6 plus 2, and they get +2 strength as well. So they're strength 7.
What?
Strength 7 AP1 flamers.
That's really good.
And then you get +1 to wound and +1 AP from the Warwalker.
Yeah.
So it's pretty tasty.
That
so
sounds
you can
really
do some
good.
damage with them. Yeah, so it can kind of stack up. So it, as well as just being a bunker unit, it's not just a bunker unit. It's also an expensive bunker unit, but it's good.
And they have
Obviously
sticky objective, those guys, or
yeah, they have sticky objectives as well.
Yeah, that sounds pretty tasty.
So they're pretty good. They can do some work, especially when there's stuff for deep striking around you, and you can just.
Oh, I see the trauma coming out now.
Yeah, exactly. 2 units of 5 Fire Dragons because Fire Dragons are probably the best unit in the book. Howling Banshees for say protecting my units from stuff charging them. Rangers because they infiltrate. Striking Scorpions because they infiltrate and scout. The Warlocks, as I've mentioned. The Warp Spiders because they jump. They can block stuff. They've got 24-inch movement, which is really nice. They can jump on objectives. They also overwatch pretty well with their flamers.
Yep.
The Shining Spears was a bit of an afterthought. I just like the models and like the idea of them.
Yeah, they're like
so far
anti-tank close combat guys, basically.
Yeah, I mean, they're anti-everything, to be honest. They hit everything on threes and they wound everything on threes at a minimum, basically.
Okay.
And they do damage 3, like AP2 or 3. Like they're solid. They don't have many attacks, but they're good. They're yet to really do much for me, but on paper they seem quite fun. They're definitely like my kind of unit because they're fast and they're glass cannon, so I like
Yeah, I
them.
mean, teleporting around with them seems really fun.
You can't teleport with them.
Oh no, sorry, I
because
was
they're not
thinking about
infantry.
the wrong unit now. But yeah, I mean, yeah, they're still fast enough, right? So
Yeah, like movement 14, etc. So yeah, they're pretty good. The Warlock Skyrunner, like he's just there purely to just do objectives and be annoying. 45 points, 2x3 Wind Riders because that's the models I have, and they're okay. They kill Space Marines quite well.
yeah, damage 2,
A
right?
Falcon, yeah, exactly. Damage 2, AP1, AP2 with a Warwalker. They're nice. They also reroll to hit, which is quite good for Overwatch. It combos quite nicely with the Farseer as well because you get lethal hits and you can just automatically do a 6, which is good.
Yeah.
So if there's like small stuff like being annoying, like coming to try and charge you, the 3 Wind Riders are pretty good with Overwatch just to try and kill a couple of units or a couple of models from a unit. So I like them. The Falcon to house one of the units of Fire Dragons, probably with Fuegan, and then the 2 Warwalkers, as we've discussed, because they're just like good combo pieces with the rest of the army. And that's basically like, say, like the thought process behind the army, and also because mostly it's what I painted.
Sure. So you basically you prepared like because we right before the tournament you had like quite of a disappointing experience with playing our friends and just like getting wrecked, and then you were off to this tournament basically. So where did you go?
Yeah, yeah. So the tournament was in Roskilde. Like it's pretty close to where I live, and also to where like the club that I play at. Um, Basically, I said, oh, I would like to go to a tournament like this half of the year.
Yeah,
And one of the local guys was like, oh, like here's a calendar thing where you can see where all the tournaments are in Denmark. Oh, great. Let me just take a look. And there was like, oh, there's one in Roskilde, which is just down the road. And
perfect.
it's
Yeah,
like a 1 day thing, which is perfect because I don't need to spend the whole weekend away from the family. And yeah, so it fit everyone's schedule. Perfect. So I was like, right, I don't know anyone going. None of the guys I know are going, but I'm just going to go down and see what it's like. And yeah, it was a fantastic experience, I must say. It was like the town hall basically in Roskilde, it's right in the town centre. Um, it's yeah, like I guess it was a 20 person event. I
yeah.
think the technical 40k term is like rogue trader
Okay.
event or
Whatever.
something, but that's whatever.
Yeah.
I guess that I think that's what the in the 40k universe is like a 1 day event, which is with 3 games.
Okay. And otherwise, it's what like
Um,
a grand tournament, or I don't know, like.
yeah, grand tournament or like what I don't know whether it's ranked. I don't know
Oh
how
yeah,
these
because
things
they have
work.
such a crazy
Yeah,
like ranking system and everything. But I just want to say that's like such small town behavior that you like you have a warmer tournament in your town hall. Like they don't have anything better to do. Just like put the nerds in here.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, throughout the event there was quite a few people that saying, "Oh, no, there's this gaming club here, and there's this gaming club here, and we're playing here." And I actually realized there's like loads of 40k going on, like
Yeah,
all over the
yeah.
place,
This is
which
so
is
nice with
pretty
playing this
good to
game.
see.
Yeah,
Yeah, and everyone was saying, "Oh, they come down to this gaming night here. There's this club, and maybe they're going to start up in a few weeks. This club, and yeah, it was pretty impressive to see, especially coming from Ninth Age, where you're like, oh, there's someone in this town that are playing.
yeah,
Oh, you haven't driven 3 hours to get
yeah.
here.
It's that'd be insane.
Yeah, so yeah, that was also quite nice. But I think what we'll do is let's just go through the games that I
Yeah,
had, and I can just like briefly like explain what happened in each
sure.
one, and
Yeah, let's
and
go for it.
yeah. So the first game was against a guy called Laust, and he was playing Dark Angels, and I think it's called like the Rock Detachment.
Sure.
which
I've never played against Dark Angels, so I can't help you out here.
but I guess it's Space Marines, but I would imagine without knowing that they have like a specific Dark Angels detachment.
Yeah, they like it.
Probably.
Yeah, because I think how it works with Space Marines is that you have your flavor of Space Marines, and they have like X number of detachments, but you could also use the generic Space Marine detachments with like Dark
Yeah.
Angel units. But I would assume that
Yeah,
if you're really
exactly.
into Dark Angels, probably you want to play the special detachments.
Yeah, and I think this was the special detachment with Dark Angels. So my understanding or my memory from this is that he had like the Primarch,
Yeah, the Lion.
which was like a combat beast that can like teleport, and he had 2 units of like bikers, which had which seemed really strong.
Yeah, because I think their
He
like special
had
thing for the Blood Angels is that they have like a special division of bikers and a special division of Terminators. That's like some of the like characteristics of like what you get when you play
yes,
them.
and he had a special division of Terminators with the deep strike and with some shields, and everything was at -1 to wound.
What is that? Was that just like a
I think
detachment thing?
yeah, I think it was like -1 to wound if your strength is higher.
Oh, it's like it's the same thing as the Nurgle stuff I have does.
Yeah,
I just
but
like the way
I'm pretty sure it was a whole
yeah,
army.
the way you said that though, it just sounded so much that you turn up to the table, you go like, "What does this do?" And he's like, "Oh, you're new? Oh yeah. Everything is -1 to wound, actually." You're like, okay.
So basically, I didn't wound anything on 2s or 3s. It was always 4s or 5s.
Yeah, yeah, rough.
Yeah, rough. And then I think he had like reactive moves, and if you get too close, if you go within 3 inches or 6 inches, he can just charge you, basically.
Oh, okay. That seems difficult
But
to deal with.
he was really good at reminding me.
Okay, that's nice. Yeah.
I was like, he was a really nice. Like, to be honest, the 3 games I had were really great. Like, I told everyone that I was new and this is my first tournament, and everyone was like really like kind with me, and we like talked through the moves and stuff, and I think everyone was like playing with the same sort of like, say like, everyone was playing with the same intent and the same goal, like to just have a fun game rather than to try and like gotcha all the
Yeah,
time.
sure.
And so I had to be a bit careful of these like reactive moves. And I was also really afraid of the bites because they're really fast.
Yeah.
So that they can move 12 inches, so they can go really far and then like get like different angles on things like that I hadn't really realized. And the way that the terrain was, he could like kind of zip through the terrain and like get really close to me and probably charge me in the first turn. But yeah, luckily I got the first turn and sort of like tried to block him in a bit. He also had this like machine which was like I guess like a light vehicle which gave like an aura of -1 to hit against everything. It's
Okay.
like, well, that's gonna get killed. That's getting killed in the first turn because
Yeah,
I
for
can't
sure.
be doing with that.
For sure.
So I put a lot of resources into killing that in the first turn.
I feel like it's one of the
Yeah.
fun things about this is like we tried to like backtrack to like what model is that? Like what is you know, like no idea what these different things are.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly what it was, but and I think he also had something that you could do like advance and charge or advance and shoot or something like that. So the bikes could like move really far
Yeah, I can imagine.
and shoot. So I kind of had to be quite defensive with it. Yeah, and I think he deep struck.
That's a good
Deep
question.
striked?
Deep stroke.
Deep stroke. That has different connotations, Casimir.
Yeah, well, depends on what he did to you, you know.
Well, he teleported his Terminators in right in the corner, like in my deployment zone. In the first opportunity he got, basically, whether it was his first turn, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I basically turned my entire army back to shoot them, and I didn't kill
Oh
them
no. Okay.
after shooting like my entire army.
Yeah, because it's like -1 to wound
But then-
and 4+ invul or something, and
and then armor of content and whatever
oh,
it's
I
called.
fucking hate that stratagem so much.
Same. And so I basically turned everything to shoot him. I didn't kill everything, but then Fuegan and his boys charged the last 2 Terminators and killed them in combat.
Okay, that's good.
So that was okay, but I still had to devote like a lot of resources to kill this one unit.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I managed like a really lucky charge with the Shining Spears like the last turn to get some points, but I think we were a bit low on time. We couldn't really finish. And he was quite a good player, and I think he got like 93 points or something from me.
Yeah. You told me he had like 90 objective points, and that to me, I'm like, that's like scoring max points every turn, basically.
Yeah, I mean, he was getting all his objectives, and I was not. So I think maybe I've got like 60 something, and he
Yeah.
got 93
So
or 90.
what would you say made the game like take time? Like, was it just like getting into the playing, or was it like was he kind of meticulous,
Yeah,
or?
I think a bit of everything. It was also like the first game of the tournament, and I was not really like super fresh with the rules and everything like that. So maybe it was just the fact that I was just the first game of the tournament. I couldn't remember stuff, and I was not nervous, but like just trying to remember how everything worked
Yeah, sure.
and that kind of stuff. And by the second game, I was a bit more sort of into it and into like
Yeah.
now I remember the rules
I find
and
it's
also
like this
like
quite often when you
he
play
had a lot of
tournaments.
these. Yeah, he had a lot more like say like reactive rules or like gotcha rules that he was reminding me about. So I had to sorry, I forgot that you had that 3-inch remove. I'm just gonna move my guys back a little bit
Yeah,
so
sure.
that you can't just charge me and I die and I lose the game. Not that I was gonna win the game, but it was more like yeah.
Yes, I think it's also one of
Yeah,
those things. Like the game it's not very fun for him either if it just ends in turn 1 because you make a silly mistake, right?
yeah, exactly. But I feel like there's in general like this tournament there was a lot of like 9 or 10 charges that just people just went for because there's no downside to making them.
Yeah.
And maybe I think in 40k that's something that you just have to get used to is that people just make these like or go for these really long charges.
Yeah, for sure. Especially because there's no failed charge
Sometimes you
distance,
make
right?
them.
You just like you roll
Yeah,
it, and if you don't
exactly.
get it, it's like you just stay there. So it doesn't really matter.
Casimir, I just need to take a quick break because my
Yeah, I can
daughter
hear
has
it.
appeared.
Yeah, sure. I'll post it. There we go.
Yeah, so just to finish up, basically what happened was he completely overwhelmed me. I was scratching for points here and there. I managed to get a few secondaries, but I didn't really score my primary that well. Mostly because he was so fast and durable, and I'm a bit of a shit player. Basically, it was what I would put it down to.
Yeah, sure.
But he won like quite a lot over me. So my second game was also against Dark Angels.
And then you turn up to the table and you're like, oh, okay, sure.
It's like, oh, this is going to be rough. The same thing again. But he was playing a different detachment. I think it was like the regular Space Marine detachment.
Okay.
So he had like the stuff that Patrick's playing with. He was also called Patrick, incidentally. um, and yeah, so he was running like a completely different list. So it was a bit more similar to what I've played against before, or at least like what one of the guys at the club is playing. So, and I've played that a few times. He had the Primarch again, but instead of all like the infantry and bikes, he had 4 dreadnoughts
Okay.
and a big tank, and then 2 times 10 Marines. One of the units had like a special character. I want to say it's called Azrael, but I don't know if that's his
Yeah, that
name.
sounds familiar, to be honest. I think I've heard that name before.
Yeah, so I think that seemed to be like a combo piece, like making the Marines really, really killy. And then he basically used the tank to sit on the home objective. Yeah, and this was like a little bit different map, and I feel like I deployed quite well. Like I had the shining spears like in like a really nice position, like in a ruin where they could sort of charge any of the objectives. And in my first turn, I sort of moved the shining spears up to charge a dreadnought that was on one of the primary objectives.
Mhm.
But it was a bit of a mistake because they also moved the fire dragons up, and the fire dragons just killed the dreadnought. And the shining spears were just like swinging the dicks in the wind
Yeah,
with nothing
exactly.
to charge. I was like, oh shit. So in his turn, he just deleted the shining spears. So that was a big mistake. Basically, like, yeah, overkill to an extent that was unnecessary. But this is also kind of what we talked about before, is saying sort of, okay, like how much overkill do you want? You need to ensure that the dreadnought is removed, and just the fact that maybe I was a bit, I don't know if I was lucky, but maybe on average the fire dragons just kill it. But yeah, I didn't know that they would just kill it. I thought, okay, the fire dragons will do most of the wounds. Shining spears will just go in and finish it off, and then I'm on the objective. But they should have just been further back because they just got killed.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so this was a mistake I made, but in the end, I actually won the game by 15 points, and I was quite surprised because it was sort of one of those games that was fairly close, both trying to get all the points until the last moment, and then he was sort of counting, so I had no idea actually
So
what the
he's
score
like,
was
he
until the
knows
end.
what's happening, and you're like, oh, well, maybe I'm losing.
Yeah, I was just trying to get as much points as possible out of the game, and yeah. And he was like, "Oh yeah, you won by 15 points." I'm like, "What? Wow, okay, nice." It was the first game of like 2,000 points I've actually won,
Nice.
so that was good.
Yeah.
So very happy with
Against
that.
Space Prince as well.
Yeah, against Space Marines as well. But he also didn't really use the lion that aggressively. Like, he sort of teleported it down in the first or second turn. I don't really remember, and then sort of went round chasing my units for a while. And I used like one of my stratagems to teleport Eldrad's unit like off the table at the end of his turn and put it back on my turn.
Oh, that's really good. So
Just
then, yeah.
to make sure that he couldn't charge it. So yeah, it was pretty close. I think actually the whole tournament the dice were like fairly like fine, to be honest. And yeah, so yeah, I was really happy with winning that game. I think that's all the notes I've made for this game. Like, I don't remember any specific like crazy moments in the game,
Yeah.
especially like the Shining Spears was probably like the only thing that I remember like fucking up really badly. And
Would you say it's
Swagan and his boys just lifting a dreadnought.
would you say you guys were maybe like a little bit more on par in skill level, or what was the feeling in that game?
I think maybe he's a bit more experienced in 40k, but maybe I'm a bit more, let's say, like experienced in like war gaming in general.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He was like a younger guy.
Okay. When you say younger,
I
how
don't
much
know.
younger are we talking here? Like,
I'd say he was like in his 20s,
okay.
like early 20s.
I guess that's
maybe
like becoming
20
rarer
or
in the
22.
game anyway, right? Because most people play are kind of our age group, I would say, like 30 plus.
Yeah, for sure. But maybe 40k is a bit different. Like we also maybe neckbeards these days, Casimir.
Oh, yeah.
We don't realize there's actually like younger people playing 40k.
Yeah, for sure. Finally, we're gonna be with the hip kids, you know.
Yeah, exactly. But he also said that he's running like every Friday. He's running like a gaming night in Roskilde, I think. At the venue that we played, I think. So yeah, I mean that's something. If people are listening who are in Denmark and want to play some 40k, there seems to be quite a lot of stuff going on in Roskilde, and I can hook you up if you just send me a message on the Discord or something like that. So yeah, the last game, game 3, was against a guy called Alex, and he was playing Chaos Knights. So these are like the big robot things
Yeah, when you
that never even seen before.
Yeah, when you message about this at the tournament, I was like, "Oh, you're gonna get crushed!" Like, because we like in our chat, there's been a lot of talk about how good the Chaos Knights are, and like some of our friends really want to play them and stuff like that. So I thought like, okay, this is gonna be a rough one to finish off today.
Yeah, I didn't really know what to expect. So he had one big character, which was called a Lancer.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it has like a big like stick lance thingy and a
Yeah,
shield.
makes sense.
And then he had 3 big knights. Like 2 of them were like shooting configurations, and one was a combat one. And then 2 smaller ones, like 2 smaller kind of combat knights. I think the smaller ones had like 14 wounds, and the big ones had like 26 wounds or something.
Oh,
And then the character one had 28, maybe. And then he just had like one unit of 10 plague bearers to sit on the home objective. And he sort of explained the rules to me at the start, and it just sounded
and
very
you just
good.
like
Like he could like
your
walk
eyes gloss
through.
over.
Yeah, he like, oh yeah, I can walk
Yeah.
through terrain, and each one has 36 shots each, and then some big guns, and there was. It just seemed like a lot of the stuff like broke all the rules that I was used to playing with. So I didn't really have any idea of what the fuck I would do. I just knew that I had to kill all the guys, and
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
I kind of liked the matchup a bit because it wasn't that many units, and I could sort of dance around a bit and focus fire, especially with my like Eldrad Farsi and Warwalker combo. I was like, okay, if I can focus fire on one of these guys, one of these like knights per turn, then I can probably lift one or two
Yeah,
and
and I think
sort of reduce
this
the
is
amount
also
of.
like when you have one of those like focus fire tactics, right? Then suddenly it's actually not so bad that they're these like big bad things.
Yeah, so I was sort of like, without knowing what was going on, I was sort of like half like confident going into this matchup, but also not confident because I had no idea what would happen with because it was so it's just like a different way of playing basically.
Yeah, like maybe that's the question. It's like how did you find the experience of playing against knights?
I think if you can get your head around what they can do, like he was also very accommodating with reminding me about the rules. Like I was like, okay, my intention is that I can hide my unit here, and he's like, yeah, you can't do that because I can see through walls. And I'm like, oh yeah, thank you for reminding me. If I put it here, can you see me? And he's like, no, I don't think I can. I was like, okay, great. So he was also very good at kind of not coaching me through the game, but sort of I was playing with intent, like saying like, okay, I want to make sure that you can't shoot this unit, and he was like, okay, yeah, you can't put it there, but you could maybe put it here, and I was like, yeah, okay, then we can play like this, and that was both like really helpful for me as a new player, and also very kind of him to sort of like be
Yeah, no,
accommodating like that with the rules.
just just makes it like as a nicer play experience, right? Because that's like I feel like in a game like Knife Age or maybe Old World or whatever, it maybe makes sense when you go like, oh, I'm gonna put this here so that you can't like move to see me or something because we're talking about arcs. Then you might be let's see in my turn, but in
Yeah,
40k it's a bit like so there's so many variables that you can't really predict that very accurately without the help of your opponent, I think.
yeah, and I think that's like the right way to play in general. And he also had the two small knights, which had indirect fire, and that's the first time I'd played against indirect fire, apart from when Christopher's just taking me off. So that was also a bit like, say, concerning when I was playing. I was like, I need to get rid of these like indirect fire knights to start with because otherwise it's just going to wreck my fire dragons, which are like the only thing that I can really use to deal with the big guys.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was like a priority for me to kind of get rid of them at the start, and luckily for me, he sort of pushed them up pretty far, and I could sort of target them both in the first turn. I don't know if I killed them both in the first turn, but maybe if I didn't kill them both in the first turn, I definitely killed them both in the second turn.
Yeah, that seems like maybe a bit of a
The
mistake on
small
his
ones.
side, right? Because probably he just wants to hang back so he can indirect fire, I would assume.
Yeah, but they were also his kind of like combat
Oh,
ones,
okay.
and so he wants to get into combat with me as soon as possible. I think as well. So it was quite a cagey game. It was very close. Like again, he was the one counting the score, so I had no idea what was going on at all. So I was just playing like kind of for fun, right? I'm just there just to roll some dice and see what happens. Um, but yeah, like we had a really nice game, and it was back and forth, and we were both like trying to get objectives. I think it was a lot of like denying each other primary was sort of the name of the game.
Yeah.
Like he puts one unit on to to stand on the primary for next turn. I like either kill it or I put too much OC on so he can't get it in this turn, and then it goes back and forth.
Yeah.
But like I remember specifically the combat knight being like, oh yeah, he was saying, do you want me to roll? And I was like, well, how much damage do you do? He's like, well, I have 21 attacks with sustained hits and reroll to hits and strength 12 and AP 6 and whatever else. I was like, okay, I'll just take him off. Don't worry about it. There's quite a lot of that going on in this game.
Yeah, sure. I guess the knights are like they're maybe better at fighting like big stuff, right? And then you put like 5 Eldar guys with toughness 3 in front of them, and they're like, okay, squish.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, do you want me to roll? I'm like, I've got a 4+ influence save. He's like, I've got 30 attacks. I'm like, oh, okay, then maybe not. let's just save the time. Yeah, so we got to the end of the game, and he was like, do you want to know the score? I was like, yeah, sure. He's like, you won by 1 point. I was like, what? So I was so happy that I actually like won a second game as well.
Yeah.
And also against like an army that I never played against before, like something that I was quite like uncomfortable with in some respects. So yeah, it was a really fun game, and I think it was 62-61 or 61-60 or something like. I basically won by 1 point.
Wow. That's really cool. Like that's the kind of game you want, I feel like.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's probably my favorite 40k game that I've played so far. Actually,
Nice.
it was really fun. Yeah, and so like end of the tournament. Yeah, I wasn't really expecting to have done it well at this tournament. I was more just going to sort of meet people, see what the tournament scene is like, and just get some like sort of impressions of tournament games. But I actually ended up winning 2 games, which was amazing.
Yeah.
And it somehow put me in 5th place.
Yeah.
Out of 20,
out of 20.
which was
That's really good. Yeah.
which is insanely good. So maybe I'm actually good at 40k, and I just didn't realize.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or maybe Patrick and Christopher are just really good.
Exactly. Like, yeah, you're good, but they're even better. That's the problem. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I was really happy with that, and I also won Best Painted, which was cool.
That's really good. So, what would you say the quality of the painting was?
I'd say like average. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. Like every army was painted.
Okay, that's nice at least.
I didn't see many like grey models.
Yeah.
There's a few armies which were kind of, let's say, like tournament ready, like a few which were sort of 3 colors.
Yeah, sure. Like a spray and a wash and some stuff or what.
Yeah, there was quite a lot of armies which people have put in a lot of effort into, but maybe the technical ability wasn't super high.
Okay.
So there was like, for example, like there was one guy who made these really, really nice bases.
Yeah.
But then just hadn't sort of finished it. If that makes sense. Like he'd like made these really nice bases, he'd like base coated it, but just hadn't really finished the army.
Sure.
Like he'd maybe done a few colors. It's obvious that he was going to finish it, but he hadn't finished it.
Yeah, like
there's a really nice.
Maybe that's like not the tournament where he's like pushing to do it all for like this one day thing.
Yeah, exactly. There was a guy who had a really nice Tau army where he had like a 3D printed like shield thing on one of his like Titan, like big robot things.
Yeah, sure.
Where it was like I guess it was a shield drone, and the idea was that it was supposed to look like something had hit the shield and like bounced off, and he airbrushed it. It looked really, really cool. And he like airbrushed a lot of like the design on the tower. I think his army was also really nice. Yeah, like in general, the standard was, I'd say, good, but not exceptional.
Sure. But it's nice when people are like actually putting in the effort, because that's that will be like maybe the downside or downfall of like Knife Age is like you would have some armies where people that were really good, but in general people not putting in effort, you know.
Yeah, I'd say it's somewhere in the middle. Like there was a big mix. I'd say my army was one of the better ones. But there was a few nice ones, and there was a few which were like, say, like table ready, and there was a lot in the mid range.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Like the Dark Angels, the 2 Dark Angels armies which I played against were like reasonably painted, and the Chaos Knights were pretty good, but they're quite big, and I guess it's quite hard to paint like big models well because there's so many details.
Airbrush.
You're sort of painting like big surfaces. Yeah, exactly. So
yeah,
and if you don't have an airbrush, then it's difficult.
Yeah, exactly. It's not. I mean, I guess sponging, but it's it's just like a completely different ball game painting all those like really big flat things. And of course, if you're like good at freehand or something, you can like make such a so much space to do cool stuff. But I would say that's the very small minority of painters and players.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so overall, in general, like really nice tournament. Nils, who was running it, was really fun, really nice guy. Like constantly getting me like water, asking me if I want cups of tea, these kind of things. Like
Cups of
really
tea. Oh yeah, I
nice
guess
to
you were
have.
driving there, right?
I was actually on the bus because my wife wanted the
Yeah,
car.
some like cups of tea. What the
She
fuck are you
didn't. She
talking
didn't
about?
use the car. It was also on a Sunday.
So what does that mean? I mean, you don't work, right?
Not right now, but I have a daughter that I have to look after when I get home,
Yeah,
so I
sure,
couldn't
sure,
come
sure,
home
sure.
pissed.
Okay, fair enough. But they were
Right, like
serving beers at least.
actually no, the bar was closed because it was Sunday, but they said that there was a bar and it was normally open, but because it was a Sunday, there was no one
Ah,
there.
too bad.
So if we go there on a Saturday, there will be a bar
Okay.
and we will be getting drunk.
Okay. I'm just like you're scaring me here. Like it just who is this person? What's going on?
Casimir, I'm on my second bottle of wine and I've just finished my like sixth beer, so
It's
don't worry,
it's
don't worry.
good to know that being a parent hasn't changed you.
I can hear my daughter crying from the bedroom, and I know that I'm going to get it in the dick when I get into the bed. But yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Anyway, yeah. So what else to say about this tournament? Yeah, had a really nice time. 3 really good games. Seemed like a really good group of people, and I'm kind of like quite excited to be, say, like playing more tournaments with the same guys.
Nice.
So
That
yeah,
sounds
really
really good.
positive.
I think the trophy you got for best painter was really nice as well. It was like a drinking horn or something.
Yeah, I got like a drinking horn with like some, I guess it's like brass or something like.
Yeah, like metal plating.
Yeah, ends. Yeah, with like a engraving. Yeah, really, it's sitting right in front of me on my coffee table, and it's. I told my wife, yeah, this is gonna sit here now. It's like, this is where it lives, and she hasn't moved it. So I was obviously joking, but it's been there now for a week. So a couple of things to note about, like say like learning things from the tournament. One thing, they had this app which was really good. It's called AR Layouts 40K.
Oh yeah.
It's like alternative reality layouts to set up tables. It's so good. So basically, you download this app, you print out something which is on the app, and you put the printout on the table, and then you use alternative reality on your phone to do the layouts for the terrain. It's so good. It's so good. It makes setting up a table in 5 minutes. It's so easy. AR layouts 40K. Download this app. It will make your game setup within minutes. It's so good. I'm so impressed. I was shocked. It was so easy. Yeah. Also on that, like the terrain was also like a WTC, and they have these like kind of foldable terrain, which was also pretty good. Yeah, like general tournament was fantastic. Actually, everything really good.
Nice.
Couldn't have asked for more. Yeah, as you say, like trophies really nice. Yeah, really good.
Yeah, that's
I would go again.
cool. What is there a next one that you know of already, or how's the schedule like?
I I don't know. I think after this one, I think my wife is probably not happy with me going away for a whole day.
Yeah, you have to
And
space them
my
out a
next
little bit.
yeah, exactly. My next tournament is hopefully in April in Glasgow, when I'm going to go see Fraz and Andrew and yeah, play some more 40K. Hopefully by then I get my Lycus model done. That's basically like the next thing for me. But in Denmark, I don't have anything planned yet. Maybe after summer, I will try and do one, or maybe in Munich if we get a chance.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see how things develop. Because I think there's definitely tournaments here happening. It's just about choosing one that we want to go to, I think.
Yeah. So I think with that we can wrap up the show. Yeah, maybe I can say like MVP or
Yeah,
something.
sure. Yeah, like what is the best
Don't know, like.
part? You talked a lot about this combo. Is
Um,
this the thing you want?
mm, no, I don't know who was the MVP. I think the Fire Dragons and Fuegan are so good. I think
Yeah,
that
it's like the standard,
those
right?
those boys Like in the first game, Fuegan and the boys didn't quite cut it in the shooting, but they finished the guys off in combat. In the second game, they were just like deleting dreadnoughts one at a time. They did get killed pretty quickly, but they did their job.
Yeah, sure.
And in the last game, they were also like, sort of instrumental in taking down the Knights. So yeah, Fuegan and his boys, they're good. But yeah. So with that, I think we can finish up there. Yeah, if you want to get in touch with us, find us on Discord. There'll be a link in the show notes. Yeah, you want to say anything else, Casimir?
No, I think it's fantastic that you're you're finally winning, because I think it's kind of been a bit like depressing because you've been playing quite a few games, to be honest. It's always like, oh,
For a whole year.
how did it go? Yeah, I just got stumped again. I'm like, okay, should we keep playing this game, or just bid it to do something else? So, but I think it's also playing people where maybe like the list design is at like a similar level and stuff, and then it becomes more dynamic, more interesting.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I've been like messing around with lists, trying to get the Sea Council thing to work, and it hasn't really worked. And now I'm back with Warhost, and I have a bit more like a stable list.
Yeah.
And playing the same thing more often. So yeah.
Yeah, it's like with any game, right? Like you just you need to get the reps in.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, add us on Discord. I think we'll come back in a month or so, and we'll have another podcast for you guys. But otherwise, thanks very much for listening, and we will see you on the next show.